Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a more personal video, and I especially wanted to do this before the holidays because for me this time last year was pretty rough, and I kind of have talked about this on my Instagram, and you guys wanted to hear more about my story, so I wanted to talk about how I was feeling all last year, and especially around when fall came and winter and spring. And even until a few months ago, I wasn't doing very well. In fact, I would say I was severely depressed. It got pretty bad. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to say in this video, honestly, other than I want to first and foremost tell you guys that I knew, even as horrible as I was feeling, that it would get better eventually. I didn't know when. I didn't know. There is no time span or timetable for how long you're going to feel really bad, but I just knew on the other side of that I would eventually feel better. And that was one thing that was keeping me going, was just knowing that I'm going to get through this. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I will get there because I've gotten there before. I felt pretty bad in the past, and I just knew eventually it would get better. So when I say severely depressed, I guess I might just start off with what happened. Last year in October, a family member passed away, and I don't deal with death very well. I really don't. I still miss this person so much, and I'll always miss this person terribly. And last year I was also drinking alcohol. I'm actually just a little over 10 months sober now, which is incredible. I'm so close to being a year sober, and I think that one thing alone has changed so much from last year to this year. Like, I feel so much better this year, and I think a big factor is not drinking alcohol. But again, with not being able to deal with death very well, I've been seeing a therapist for the past over 2 years. So I've talked to a therapist, and that's been helpful. I meditate, and that's been very helpful because I'm able to kind of see my thoughts as just thoughts. And as horrible as my thoughts got, I mean, when I say severely depressed, just look it up, and the first thing that pops up will probably be very accurate to how I was feeling, which was scary. And that's something I told my therapist. Was it just got to the point where I was afraid of, my thoughts were too much. Like, it was getting too much, even though I was recognizing these are just thoughts. That's all they are. As horrible as they are, I don't want to be having these thoughts. It was just getting to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. I actually told my therapist that I felt like Jean Grey in X-Men. Like, it got that bad. And she actually asked me, what are you living for? And I told her, I don't know. And that's when she suggested medication. So I'm not sure if I'm going all over the place here. This is very candid. Again, I felt like I really wanted to make this video. And again, I'm not sure all the things I'm going to share. I just want to share helpful advice. These are things that helped me. Maybe they'll help you if you're in a similar situation. I actually also wanted to film while I was feeling that low. However, I knew I eventually wanted to share this with you guys, so I didn't want to film myself when I was that low, just because sometimes when I see someone who's down, it kind of makes me feel down, and I didn't want to put that out there either. So that's why I'm sharing this now and not then, when I was feeling really, really shitty. But yeah, it got to that point where she suggested, I am stumbling here over my words. She suggested medication, and I was open to the idea because at that point, it's like, I'll try whatever. Again, a family member had passed away in October, and I was doing some things that were good for me. I was also doing things that were bad for me, like drinking alcohol. And when you're feeling sad and you're feeling down, alcohol is not helpful because alcohol is a depressant. So if you're already feeling down, it makes no sense to drink alcohol. You're just setting yourself up for failure. And that's kind of what I did off and on. And eventually in January, it got to the point where I thought, you know what, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. And I started to feel really good after I quit drinking alcohol. I felt really good. And then I started to feel down again, like really, really low. So I'd say 3 months ago, maybe it's been 4 months ago, that's when I was feeling at my lowest and I was sober. And that's what was kind of freaking me out a little bit, because I thought, oh, when I'm sober, like I'll feel so good and I'll feel so much better. And like I was only looking at the positives. But you know what? Emotions are fleeting. And if you're a living person, you're going to have a lot of emotions throughout your life. So, you can't just stay happy, but you're also not going to stay depressed, if you know what I mean. If you're not going to stay in one mode throughout your life, like it's, your thoughts and your feelings are like this. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but, it doesn't last forever. So, again, like I knew that being as low as I wasn't going to stay there forever, because that doesn't happen. Like, you don't stay angry forever. You don't, Anyway, so I started taking Zoloft. I actually saw a psychiatrist, and that was a process that was very difficult, and I'm kind of still infuriated about how difficult it was. I felt so low to the point where I was afraid of what I might do. And I was calling and calling and calling various places and just being turned away because the wait list, I guess, is so high. I live in Los Angeles, California, so everyone's depressed. No, I'm sorry. That's like horrible. I shouldn't say that. Yeah. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. Our system is so screwed. Like, to be on a wait list for months, to be able to get help when you need help now, and you are actually putting yourself out there and you're really reaching out for help, and for people to just kind of, they feel bad for you, they just turn you away. That was horrible. I had a whole day of just calling places. And then my therapist actually, whoops, I just bumped the mic. My therapist actually found a walk-in clinic. It's called Exodus Recovery, and I'll link it down below in the description bar. That is where I went. I went to a walk-in clinic, and I got to see a psychiatrist within 3 hours. I went as early as I possibly could go, which I think was 7 a.m., and I got prescription that very day for Zoloft, and I'm going to be open about it. I started at 50 milligrams, and yeah, I recently got bumped up to 100 milligrams, so I'm feeling all right. I'm sorry. But it's just, my therapist described it as just a little boop, like it's just something to help you out for, especially right now. I don't know how long I might be taking Zoloft. I might decrease it. We might increase it. I don't know. For the most part, actually, I want to do a separate video on just Zoloft alone and my experience with it and like side effects and things like that. So if that's something you guys would like to see, let me know about that, because I would love to film that pretty soon, especially here around holiday season, because I feel like these types of videos especially are needed for around the holiday season, because it can be very stressful around this time of the year. And especially, I keep saying that word, around the holidays, that is when I felt really low, because a lot of dark things have happened around the holidays. Years ago, my dad passed away, and it was October. And then my uncle has passed away, and then my aunt last year passed away in October. And I'm like, then the holidays come around, and you're supposed to be all, cheery. And, that you see that in movies and stuff, but that's not how it is. I mean, it can be that way, but I also miss my family. My family's in Missouri, and I live in California. I mean, there's different things that make me kind of sad around this time of the year. Another big thing that happened was I grew up being sexually abused from the time I was around 4 until I was about 10, and that always happened on the holidays. So, there's a lot of things about the holidays that kind of, it almost feels like I'm walking into, like, a haunted house. Like, in my mind, that's kind of how I've described it, is, like, it feels like I'm walking into this foggy, haunted house that I can't get out of. But anyway, this year has been so much better, and it's because I stopped drinking alcohol. That is one huge thing. I also started taking Zoloft a few months ago. I talked to a therapist. I still practice meditation. Just talking to a therapist alone, too, that has been so helpful, because she has been my lifeline, really. Like, she's been the one helping me when I felt so low. She has helped me feel like she's helped me climb out of that hole. And I can't recommend therapy enough, because at times it has gotten so scary. And again, I knew it would get better, and it has gotten so much better. It really has. It's like I've given myself a new life. This is completely different from how I was feeling last year. Another big thing that has been so helpful is once I started actually feeling better, and I actually wanted to start doing things again. Like, I didn't even want to film videos, and usually I love filming videos. I'm like, oh, I get to sit down and film video and edit it and share it with you guys, but I didn't even want to do that. I didn't want to do anything. Like, I just wanted to sleep all day. Like, that's it. But once I finally started feeling better, I was like, I told my husband, I'm like, I kind of want to go back to school, but, that's just an idea. I probably can't, like, maybe I can someday, but not now. And my husband was like, we should sign you up for school in the fall. And signing up for school in the fall was like 2 weeks later, and boom, I am in school, and I'm doing really well. And I think that's helped with my self-esteem and my confidence and everything. Like, I just feel really good about things, and I love being in school so much, to the point where everyone's like, are you going to be a professor when you're older? Like, is that what you're going to do? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. I could totally be like a Mr. Feeney. I just really love school. I love being there. I love, and I've been isolated for a long time too. And that's something I've recently realized, is how isolated I have been, which is I film videos. Like, this is what I do for a living. Filming videos, being a blogger, posting things online, and being able to work with different brands, and that's really cool and exciting. However, I get invited to events, but if I just don't go, if I don't make the effort to be social, it's very easy to just stay. Ooh, I just keep moving this mic. It's very easy for a YouTuber to isolate themselves. And I'm just speaking from personal experience, because I don't have to go anywhere and do anything. Like, you work for yourself, you don't have any coworkers. I don't have a team around me. It's just me making these videos. Like, so I realized for a while I was very isolated. And you know what? When I talked to the first psychiatrist I talked to, who is not my main psychiatrist, but just to get the first Zoloft prescription, she asked me, she's like, when did your depression start? And I was like, oh, it's just been like really bad over the past like couple months. And she goes, no, when did your depression start? As like a hint, like, no, when did this start? And I was like, I guess when I was 13. And she's like, what happened at 13? And I told her, like, that's when I told my parents that I was being molested and raped. And I didn't use the word rape because I didn't know what that word meant until later, like a few years later, honestly. I just said I'd been molested, and my family, I remember my mom being very upset. My mom still, my dad was upset. I didn't see his reaction. I think my brother was upset. But, like, the rest of the family just took it as, well, get over it, that kind of thing. And I didn't see my family anymore. So my family, like my extended family, was not supportive at all. They looked at it as, well, that happened to me when I was little. They took it as like, oh, that's just a rite of passage. That's the way I took it when I was a kid. And I still take it that way, because that's a horrible reaction. So my family wasn't supportive. And then I stopped seeing them, because I stopped being invited to holidays. Then I stopped seeing them because I said, I don't want to see my abuser anymore. Sorry, there is a lot I'm putting in this video. Holy heck. Wow. Anyway, and she's like, that's really fucked up. That's what she told me. And I'm like, yeah, that is really fucked up. But yeah. And when I was really depressed, I could not concentrate to save my life. I could not concentrate on anything. I couldn't, like, even if I wanted to get work done, I couldn't. Like, I would just sit in front of my computer, and I'm like, just staring at it. Like, I could not concentrate. I couldn't focus. Like, it's like I just shut down, and I could not get out of it. I knew I would eventually. I didn't know when, but I knew it would eventually get better. Another thing was I was just angry all the time. I was so angry, and I was crying a lot. Just like any little thing made me so furious. I was like, what is going on with me? And my therapist is like, you're depressed. Like, that's what depression is. Anyway, so I just want to tell you guys that from my personal experience, I have felt this way before in the past, and it has gotten better. Each time it does get better, you just have to give it time. You have to be here to give it time. And something that I think has really been helpful is medication. And I know that can be controversial with people, or people think, no, don't take medication, or some people are for it, people are against it, whatever. I say, you know what? Whatever helps, helps. I mean, it's your life. And if you need a little boop, like if you need a little help, why not take that? So yeah, that's the video. This is the video I meant to film. I hope you guys found it helpful. These are all the things that have helped me. Again, seeing a therapist, eventually talking to a psychiatrist, and getting medication. For me, that has been so helpful. Meditation, and I'll put some meditation apps down below in the description bar that I really like. Also, quitting alcohol, quitting drinking, that has helped so much. I mean, this year is so much better than last year, just that alone. Quitting alcohol. And yes, taking better care of myself, basically. Just all around taking care of myself, giving myself time to feel better, and just realizing that, yes, it will get better. Better. Eventually, it will get better. I am stumbling over my words. Also being in school and doing something I really love. So, yeah, that's it for this video. Again, I hope you guys found it helpful. I hope you guys have a good holiday season. And I have a couple more videos kind of similar to this that I'm going to be uploading next. So yeah, check back here if you want to see those. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, bye.